Her mom is a good friend of mine, but she's very artistic. And I said to me, you've got to have a balance. What you want to do? I wanna be an influencer, get brands on my side, make money. I said, to balance it, your mom says go do architect at school. You want to do fine arts. Do fine arts with influencing and move up. And we can work it out. I launched up with Nando's, with Nike, with Apple. Today she's sitting with influential women like Busani Maluleka from Capitec, African Bank CEO, and now at Capitec. You've got to find the fine balance between education and creativity. The world will still judge you on education and use education as an economic discriminating bar to throw you out. Those that have pens there, if you can draw for me a triangle. In that triangle, divided into 3 parts. You'll see that the bottom part is a very thick part. Just write hygiene for me in there. The middle part, write evidence. The top part, write claim. Hygiene, ma'am, to your point, if you smell, people will move away from you. If you smell nice and look as great as you do, people want to sit around you. But people randomly tell you when you smell nice. That you will see by action when you don't smell nice. So hygiene is the thing that you need to do to smell nice in a room where we don't ask you why you are in the room. That's your qualification, guys. It's your doctorate degrees, your master's degrees. I teach at Gibbs Business School. It's one of the top business schools in the continent, wearing shorts. Do you think they ask me why I'm there? Because my hygiene. When people read my profile and my qualification, I can happily say I'm not here for a fashion show. I'm here to provide you with knowledge. And how I look does not matter. So sort out that hygiene part. So being in the room is not questionable. The second part is the evidence part. In fact, this I can say with ease. He's a friend of mine. I'm not hating on anybody. Everybody here knows Vose Tembegwa. Right? No? Vose Tembegwa is a top public speaker. He's done exceptionally well. He was world public speaker when he was 18. Vose is a great guy. He does great work. He's got a great claim as a top public speaker in the world. His work shows. But the lack of hygiene has compromised my friend Vose Tembegwa. Because he's then had to say, I've got an MBA from this place, which he didn't do, from that place he didn't do. Sort out your hygiene. Because it's a foundation of your triangle. And the evidence part is in the middle. Everything you do, small or big, do great work. Because you are writing a track record of who you are and how you do things. Be consistent in everything that you do, small or big. And remember, the internet does not forget. What you write today will catch up with you when you are 45 or 55. So consistency and ethical in how you deal and present yourself is what you've seen with Minister Mackenzie. So many years later, we are now asking about K-words when back then he thought he would never be a minister. Be consistent to your personal brand today and be honest and loyal to it today for tomorrow. On top there is a claim. Only when you have great hygiene, great work, can you now make a claim of who you are. The best influencer in Africa. In case of Dumi, you can, I can name different people, but with a solid hygiene, great work ethic for evidence, you can make a great claim. So those are things that I wanted to just leave with you. And before then, lastly, in terms of what we're going to talk about, I want to tell you my story. So I think then my story would be what you can use as your story to relate to where you want to go. So I wanted to be a CA when I finished school, chartered accountant. Finished school with 6 A's, was top maths, in my province, top accounting in my province. And my parents said, be a doctor. So I did go into varsity to be a doctor. I was there for 3 months, don't like blood, jumped off. I saw some guy walking into Pilonomi in Bloemfontein with an X on his back. And I thought, that's not my job. So I said, no, let me just choose something better or maybe easier for me. So I did accounting. I did 3 years as a top student in accounting, and I chose to be on the SRC in my last year, which means you can't serve two gods. Something had to give. So I did great as a leader. I was head boy in my college, but my schoolwork suffered in my 3rd year. So I failed 2 courses, and my dad had said to me, I will only pay for 3 years. The 4th year, I'll pay only when you've passed. So clearly I failed, I must now find my way out. So I left varsity, and I worked at PricewaterhouseCoopers. Still wanted to be a CA. I'll finish off my degree while working. I then, in that time working for PricewaterhouseCoopers, the entrepreneurial bug hit me. I thought, you know what, why am I doing this thing? I could do tenders and be rich, quick. So I left my job, opened a business. Then Thabo Mbeki was still the president, and I ran an events business and a graphic design business. I'm more a designer, but I've got the mind of a designer, but the hand has an issue. So there's no connection between my mind and my hand, but I had a friend of mine who knew how to design. We then opened a design company, which will later on merge with Tebe Ikalefen's business called Brand Leadership. But in that time of me running that business, I had a car accident. Coma for 6 months. We just got in a big deal. I bought a new Golf 5 GTI back then, bought a house, cash, no insurance, stupid me, and my car was written off in 2 months. So I'd lost, then it was 350,000, I think the car cost. So now, I'm a dropout, got no degree, I'm in hospital, I'm in a coma for 6 months, I recover, memory loss, remember nothing. I'm told I can only retain 10% of what I've learned. So I'm sitting with a proper dilemma. And my next job, after being the guy who took friends to Mauritius, had a nice time, went to Brazil, went to Argentina, went to Spain. Now I have to come back home and go and work as a teller at FNB to count people's money. I did that for 6 months, and I said, you know what, God, I know I'm not meant to be here. So I still wanted to be a CA. I left home again, came to Joburg, stayed at Brixton for a year to study accounting honors, even though I'm told I can only retain 10% of what I know. And I remember some pastor years ago said, when a doctor gives you a report, what does God's report say? So I focus on God's report. God told me I'm going to be a CA, I'm going to thrive. Jeremiah 29, you know, I know the things, the dreams I have for you. And that was me. I went for it. And I failed dismally that year. I didn't even pass one test, one exam, nothing. My highest mark was about 15%. So I packed up my stuff and I left. And I worked for ABSA. Fast forward, ABSA, they fired me after 2 years. And I packed my bags in Bloem, went to Joburg, said I want to do an MBA. Don't have money. I've left my job. And I met a guy. So destiny connectors in life will only come when you are ready and have made commitments to your dreams. I had made a dream and commitment to say, I want to change my life. And if an MBA is the one, that's the route. That's first. Secondly, I looked at Tebe Ikalefeng as somebody I didn't know then. Now he's become a good friend of mine. I didn't know, but I said, I want to align myself to a face of a mentor who's achieved things that I want to achieve. And if they could do it, I can do it. So this man did an MBA. I too want to do an MBA. I met a guy Professor Tandam Tim, who is now the Vice Chancellor of the DUT. Then he was of CUT, who met me at Woolies in Bloem. We had a small chat at the aisle. As I said, hi, sir. Then we started talking. He found out that this is where I am, and he's also a vice chancellor of the CUT. He offered me a bursary, which ended up being a bursary for about R1,000,000 when he paid over time. And I asked him, Prof, what do you want back from me? And he said to me, we'll just do a one-pager contract. She'll say, I'm giving you so much money, I'm giving you so much to go study, it will cover these costs, and then we'll talk afterwards. And afterwards, I finished, I said, Prof, I'm done now. What must I do for you? And he said to me, in fact, he took a while. It took about 2, 3 years, 4 years, he wasn't saying anything. I said, Prof, I'm still waiting. And when he came back to me 4 years later, it was 2019, he said to me, I could have taken the money and used it for myself. It was in a trust fund of a university. But I chose to invest in people who will change the future. So do to others as I have done to you. I saw a young man with a vision, with a passion. And the only gap that there was between him and the vision was money. And I had access to the money. So do to others as I have done to you. And that's what that's how I live my life. And that's one part. And I will show you where the story is going to. I did my MBA, I passed it, and I traveled the world, went to China, South Korea, Singapore, and still didn't understand where my life is going. I'm not getting jobs, I'm not getting employed. I'm usually just going out there and putting myself out there in the world, getting gigs, coming out, then one gig ends, then the next. Then he said to me, I think you must do a PhD. And I thought, academics don't make money. They just teach people and they're poor and they drive small cars. I want to drive a Range Rover. I want to live in a big house in Waterfall, and these guys don't live there. So that part, I put it aside. But fast forward, when I was doing my CTA again now, which is honors for accounting to be a CA. Now I've got an MBA. It's 2019. Before writing my exams in 2019, COVID hits, I think. No, 2020. By 2019, something happened. 2020, COVID hits. We'll write our exams in June. We're not sure if it will be in person, online. And it was still, the world was still going through a mess. When we got the exam view to say in June we're writing exam in this nature, our exam was then moved to say it will be in December. And then in August, my dad passes away from COVID. In fact, I almost lost both parents. Mom just scarcely survived. My dad passes away. And I said, no, CA out. Let me leave it, because now it's CTA, it's board exam 1, board exam 2, and I choose to do a PhD instead. Not because I wanted to be a doctor, because I needed to just find a distraction to deal with my dad's. That was my grieving. To say, when he was going into hospital for the last time, he said to me, hey, bruh, just be a doctor for me. And I said, you know, guys, this is just the last wish of a dying man. I'll do my PhD just to make my dad happy. But for me, it was just my way to grieve. And I did my PhD, my wife will tell you, in a very sloppy way. I just chilled about it, wrote chapter 1 when I had time. Eventually, I finished it, which was one of the top consumer behavior PhDs at UCT. So it's done now. But now, look at how God works. Connect the dots. Do your bit, and he will find a way. What is the route to being a CA? It's doing 3 years bachelor's degree, 1 tough year of CTA, which most people do over 3 years. Because if you fail one course, you fail. It's 4 courses. If you fail one, you repeat the whole year. Then you've got 2 board exams. Now, fast forward today with my experience. There's an institution called SEMA, and there's SICA. SEMA says if I write 1 3-hour exam in November, I cancel the CTA year, I cancel the board 1. I write board 2 next November, which means now I'm back to being the CA, the dream that I had. What does my journey show you? if you commit to your purpose and your dream, doesn't matter how the route happens, it will get there. If you trust in yourself and keep on investing in yourself, you'll get to the end goal. But most importantly, I know that the world has gone digital. It's still run by old men who are very old-fashioned. You've got to understand the mixture of how to build in education with this new way of living. But number 3, in closing, is never sell yourself or never sell your soul to get a job. Learn to build great hygiene and great credibility to be able to go out there and sell your skill, not yourself. We live in a world where 2 things are happening. One is men are using their roles to get sexual favors from women to get jobs. 2, we live in a world where women now are seeing this as an economy on its own. To say, to succeed, I need to solicit and entice men to see me differently. Because in every community, even in government, where there's a corrupter, there's a corruptee. When a minister is corrupted, there's somebody who was also offering money. Choose the other route where you become so well positioned, so well organized, that you are the Puti Mahanyela of today, where you are running Nespas and you've just cashed in shares of 240 million, and your current shares are worth 300 million still, that's left there. You work on credibility. So I will leave the young people here by saying, the world is shifting, but there's always a balance of the old and the new. Know where you go. Education still matters. Education is the only key that will get you to be creative, even in this digital world. So invest in yourself. It might take long, but when it gets there, it's worth it. Thank you.